Global Television, coming to you live from the nation's capital, Abuja. I am Aniti Patrick. A quick reminder that Global Television is on DSTV channel 365 and on Star Times channel 276. Down the news in full. The People's Democratic Party has elected former Minister Kabiru Turaki as its new national chairman after he polled 1,516 votes at the party's national convention in Ibadan. The exercise also saw the expulsion of Nyesom Wike, Ayodele Fayose, Samuel Anyanwu, and 8 others over alleged anti-party activities and internal sabotage. However, the decision quickly stirred division within the PDP as governors Ahmadu Fintiri and Caleb Mutfwang publicly rejected the expulsions, warning they could worsen the party's internal crisis. Taraba State Governor Abu Kefas says he will officially defect from the PDP to the APC on Wednesday, insisting the move is driven by the future and interests of Taraba people. He made the announcement while inspecting renovation work at the Jolly Yeme Stadium, the venue for his reception into the ruling party. Members of his cabinet have already declared full support for his decision ahead of the event. Health workers under the Joint Health Sector Unions, JHESU, and the Assembly of Healthcare Professional Associations have declared an indefinite nationwide strike over the government's failure to implement the adjusted, consolidated health salary structure. The decision was announced in a statement signed by the national chairman of JHESU, Comrade Kabiru Ado Minjibri. The union said the delay persists despite previous agreements and multiple suspended strikes, accusing the government of neglecting long-standing welfare and systemic issues in the sector. They noted that although the Presidential Committee on Salaries has finally been reconstituted, its actions in the past 8 hours does not address years of unresolved commitments. Meanwhile, the Federal Capital Territory Administration has launched a major environmental and public health campaign aimed at reducing air pollution in the nation's capital. The initiative, themed Project Breathe Clean Air Abuja, was unveiled at the Bola Ahmed Tinubu Conference Center by the Mandate Secretary for Health, FCTA, in partnership with IHS TARS. Here's Kabir Hassan with the details on that report.
In an effort to tackle rising air pollution and promote healthier living, the FCTA, through the Mandate Secretary for Health, Adedolapo Fasawi, has unveiled a renewed campaign titled Project Breathe Clean Air Abuja. The campaign, Project Breathe Clean Air Abuja, focuses on discouraging open burning of waste, the use of firewood, indiscriminate tree cutting, and other practices that degrade air quality and endanger public health.
The focus of this is to address the renewed hope, is to tell Nigerians that if only we can put hands together and not wait for government alone, we can have a happy, peaceful, and prosperous Nigeria.
A major highlight of the event was the distribution of gas cylinders to residents and alternative means to promote clean cooking and reduce smoke-induced illness. The campaign is fully supported by IHS TORS, the project sponsors, as part of its commitment to environmental sustainability. Representative of the IHS TORS reaffirmed their readiness to partner with the FCTA in initiatives that support clean energy, environmental protection, and community welfare.
The key component of the program is first of all to give the cylinder, which is normally costly, to the beneficiaries, filled, and then we will also provide free fills few times during this program. And then for those who watched the documentary before, I mean, one of the women said that the cost of this gas is actually less than the cost of charcoal and wood, and it lasts longer. So hopefully they also will be able to sustain the use of gas going forward.
The FCTA says the campaign will be sustained across communities, noting that clear air is essential for reducing cases of asthma, bronchitis, and other respiratory diseases. Kabir Hassan reporting for Global TV News.
There is fresh unrest within the People's Democratic Party as senior figures from the South and Southeast accuse the party's national leadership of breaching its own rules. The chieftains say the rest congresses and preparations towards the national convention were marred by irregularities, prompting legal intervention and renewed calls for reforms. Ramsey Enoch Agbo completes the story.
At a media briefing in Abuja, leading members of the People's Democratic Party expressed deep reservations about the conduct of recent state congresses. According to them, the exercises were rushed, poorly coordinated, and failed to comply with the party's constitution and the Electoral Act. PDP Zonal Secretary for the South-South, Josh Tuna, said the processes leading to the congresses were fraught with procedural lapses. Tuna alleged that aspirants struggled to obtain nomination forms, while key guidelines meant to steer the congresses were either inaccessible or ignored. He said these irregularities forced him to seek judicial clarification.
I've jettisoned report of a high-level committee set up by the parties built and say they are going ahead with convention. Of course, this exonerates us and we are vindicated.
Other party leaders present echoed similar concern, urging the People's Democratic Party to urgently address internal rifts before they damage the party's prospect ahead of upcoming elections. They insisted that only a transparent rule-based process can restore confidence among members and reposition the party as an effective opposition.
In the suit filed by the former governor of Jigawa State, His Excellency Sule Lamido, who was disenfranchised, who was not allowed to obtain form to enable him contest in the convention that was being planned. He was upset and annoyed, being an elder statesman of this party.
As the People's Democratic Party PDP prepared for its convention, the call for credible internal processes is growing louder. Party members say the leadership must act decisively to close ranks, rebuild trust, and ensure the party enters the next political cycle with a united front. Ramsey Enoch Agbo reporting for Global TV News.
The new Nigeria People's Party is pushing back hard against what it calls an attempt to mislead the nation's electoral body. The party is warning the Independent National Electoral Commission to ignore a notice announcing proposed congresses and a convention allegedly issued by two individuals the party insists have no legal standing within its structure. Our correspondent has the details. In Abuja, the leadership of the new Nigeria political party took a firm stance, declaring that no parallel congress or convention has been approved by the party. Addressing journalists, the National Secretary, Comrade Ogini Olakposi, Sunday said the party is appalled by what he describes as a deliberate attempt to create confusion ahead of its internal activities.
It is on that note that we have written a letter through my humble self and our lawyer to Independent National Electoral Commission to disregard any letter for notice of congresses or convention, fresh notice of congresses and convention of the Nigeria People's Party.
Ogini insisted that Dr. Ahmed Ajunji and Dikbo Olayokun, who circulated the notice, lack any authority to speak or act on behalf of the NNPP. He anchored the party's position on a judgment delivered by an FCT High Court on April 3, 2025. He says the court dismissed their suit and reaffirmed the legitimacy of the party's leadership under its founder and board of trustees, Chairman Dr. Boniface Okechukwu Anebona. He therefore urged INEC to recognize these executives and update its records accordingly.
As a judgment debtor, Dr. Ajuji and Mr. Olayoku has no right under the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria to parade themselves again as the officer of this party.
As political parties prepare for the next electoral cycle, the NNPP insists that clarity and legitimacy must guide engagement with the nation's electoral umpire. For now, the party says it will continue to defend. You're watching the live broadcast of Midday News. When Midday News returns, Ndidi cleared to face DR Congo after CAF lifts suspension. Details coming shortly, plus business and foreign stories on the other side of this break. Please stay with us. Welcome back. If you're just tuning in, this is Midday News on Global TV. In business, the World Bank supported innovation, development, and effectiveness in the acquisition of skills initiative ideas under Nigeria's Technical and Vocational Education and Training (TVET) program has continued to scale up youth empowerment as over 3,000 young Nigerians in Abuja begin a 6-month intensive training across multiple sectors. Strengthened monitoring systems have also been introduced to ensure accountability and improve outcome. Jumai Manson reports.
In her remarks, the National Project Coordinator, Mrs. Blessing Ugu, revealed that zonal monitoring and evaluation officers have been deployed to track trainee performance and provide the Honorable Minister of Education with regular progress updates.
We're having a person per local government that will be monitoring, forwarding their information to the M&E. We also have zonal M&E officers. Apart from the zonal M&E officer, there is a third-party monitoring that will at least to assess whatever we are doing and report to the Honorable Minister of Education.
Dr. Bright Omezuke emphasized that the collaboration between the Federal Ministry of Education, the World Bank, and 20 training service providers in Abuja demonstrates the federal government commitment to job creation and national development.
What we are looking at is the enlightenment to show them to understand why they are actually here, because some of them are already in the field. We already started the training, but they are yet to understand what it's all about.
Bright Omezuke praised the ministry, the National Project Coordinator Unit, and the Joint Planning Committee for the efficiency and encouraged trainees to approach the program with dedication, noting that their skills will contribute significantly to Nigeria's future workshop. Also speaking, the director and principal of the Federal Technical College, Orozo Omale O.A. Frank, described the Ideas TVET initiative as a milestone initiative aimed at bridging the gap between education and employment.
We view this initiative as a bold and timely response to the challenges of unemployment, underemployment, and the growing mismatch between skills and opportunities.
Frank commended the Honorable Minister and implementing partners for prioritizing youth empowerment and urged trainees to embrace the program with discipline and commitment. Some of the participants had this to say.
There are so many things I've learned that initially I did not know. Because growing up in the village, I knew about chicken, but the technology we are being taught about is way advanced.
So far, so good. What I have learned, I really appreciate TVET because I have learned how to repair hardware.
As a young graduate, I've been, thinking of how to start my life, but this opportunity coming, I'm really happy. Instead of going about looking for where to work, I feel like this is the right place to channel my strength while I'm still young, learning the required skills, not just for now, but for the future.
Joint flag off of the Innovation, Development, Effectiveness in the Acquisition of Skills, TVET initiative, is all about entrepreneurship and it's all about the youth, hand-on skills. Jumai Manson reporting for Global Television.
Finance Minister Wale Edu has welcomed the decision by S&P Global Ratings to revise Nigeria's economic outlook from stable to positive, while affirming the country's positive rating. Edu said the upgrade confirms the progress of economic, fiscal, and monetary reforms under President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's administration, with Moody's and Fitch issuing similar upgrades earlier in the year. All major global agencies now acknowledge Nigeria's improving macroeconomic direction. The presidential nominee for co-chairmanship position on the Board of Unclaimed Funds Trust Fund, Obehi Adesua Okafor, has assured the Senate of productive investment of the fund. If her appointment is confirmed, the nominee gave the assurance during her screening by the Senate's Committees on Finance, Banking, Insurance, and other financial institutions. Here's Topsy Gimba with the report.
An unclaimed funds trust fund is a government-managed fund, like the one established by Nigeria's Financial Act 2020, where unclaimed dividends and dormant account balances are transferred after a specified period of inactivity, example 6 years. The purpose is to make these funds available for government use, with the stipulation that the original owners can claim their money from the government later, although the process for claiming them can be unclear. While the government manages and potentially invests the funds are held in trust for the rightful owners until they are claimed.
My mission with the unclaimed funds is capital preservation. Aside from governance, I will optimize the returns of the unclaimed funds.
Explaining her mission for the fund, Mrs. Okafor said it shall be capital preservation driven by productive investment, all for expanding the physical landscape of the country.
We need to productively invest those funds. As they come to us, we maximize returns, but we also manage the risk prudently as we invest the funds.
Earlier before her presentation, the chairman of the committees, Senator Mohammed Sani Musa, Niger East, and Senator Adetokunbo Abiru, Lagos East, tasked her to justify her nomination by explaining her mission for the unclaimed fund.
The trust fund is just holding a trust for Nigerians. When you invest this money, that whatever is made out of it, the accruals will also be shared with the owners of the funds.
Report on the screening exercise shall be presented to the Senate by the Joint Committee on Tuesday next week for final consideration and appointment confirmation. Topsy Gimba reporting for Global Television News.
Another foreign scene, the Democratic Republic of Congo and the M23 rebel group have signed a U.S. and Qatar-backed framework agreement in Doha aimed at ending the long-running conflict in eastern Congo. The deal covers 8 protocols with negotiations continuing on the remaining areas, though violence persists in several provinces despite months of diplomacy. The agreement follows earlier mediation efforts involving Rwanda and Congo that were overseen by the Trump administration. The Central African Republic's Constitutional Court has approved President Faustin Archange Touadéra's candidacy for next month's presidential election despite a petition challenging his eligibility. The court also cleared opposition figure Asante judges and 5 others to contest the December 28th poll. Touadéra, a key ally of Russia, continues to face tensions over Moscow's request to replace the Wagner Group with the state-run Africa Corps as the country's security partner. Thousands of protesters took to the streets of Mexico City to demonstrate against violent crime and President Claudia Sheinbaum's government, leading to clashes that left at least 120 people injured. Demonstrators targeted the National Palace, prompting police to use tear gas while arresting 20 people for offenses including robbery and assault. The protests were largely driven by Gen Z groups anchored by recent high-profile killings, including the assassination of Urampan Mayor Carlos Manzo. And in sports, Moroccan referee Jalad Jayed has been appointed to officiate Super Eagles' decisive World Cup playoff final against the DR Congo this evening. Jayed previously handled Nigeria's 2-0 win over Rwanda in March and will be supported by fellow North African officials, including the VRA team from Algeria and Tunisia. The appointment comes as Nigeria intensifies preparations ahead of the crucial clash in Rabat. In the meantime, Super Eagles midfielder Wilfred Ndidi has been cleared by CAF to play in World Cup playoff final after initially being ruled out due to accumulated bookings. The decision came as a relief to the team, with Captain William Trust Ekong confirming the squad's excitement over Ndidi's availability. Ndidi was instrumental in Nigeria's last match, providing the assist for Victor Osimhen's third goal against Gabon. And moving to the NUGA Games, the 27th Nigerian University Games, NUGA 2025 basketball finals delivered electrifying matchups with Nile University and ABU Zaria clashing in the males final. University of Jos took on Nasarawa State University in a pulsating females showdown, an atmosphere that transformed the New Jos Sports Complex into the heartbeat of university athletics in Nigeria. Global TV sports correspondent Samuel Odi tells us more.
The male final between produced a tight and tactical contest, with both sides displaying strength, discipline and remarkable individual brilliance, but Nile University secured victory. In the female category, the excitement soared even higher as the home team, University of Jos, faced Nasarawa State University in a contest charged with rivalry and regional pride. The game drew support for University of Jos Gladiators as they fought to secure victory on home soil. The Vice-Chancellor of University of Jos, Professor Tanko Ishaya, expressed delight at the quality of play and the atmosphere of unity the games has fostered, and he said University of Jos exceeded its expectations. INEC Chairman Professor Joseph Amaputan applauded universities for their commitment to the growth of sport and urged Nigerian FAs to take advantage of NUGA in scouting athletes that would represent Nigeria in the global stage. The SUG president expressed gratitude to all participants for adhering to the rules of the games, and she says the next NUGA edition for universities will yield a more positive result.
I'm very certain that University of Jos will capitalize on this. I'm sure that we hold our skill in terms of football, basketball, and also the game of sports. Something that was really excellent.
Amid the intensity, the event was more than just a competition. It was a celebration of youth development, sportsmanship, and growing stature of NUGA as a strategic pipeline for national sports excellence. Samuel Odi for Global Television News.
And that brings us to the end of Global TV Meet the News. A quick reminder that Global TV is on DSTV channel 365 and on StarTimes channel 276. Kindly follow us across all our social media platforms now showing on your screen using @Global TV NG. Thank you for being a part of the bulletin. I am Aniti Patrick. Have a lovely day ahead of you.